Assalamualaikum, kia ora, greetings, welcome to another Voice of Islam show. Today's topic, 5 important factors in successful Islamic parenting. Parenting is a very challenging job. As time passes, it brings new challenges. To be successful parents, one needs to keep learning and keep adjusting. Even though it is not easy, but as parents we must do our best. As Muslims, there is Islamic guidelines from Allah and His Messenger has taught us parents constantly need Allah's guidance to be successful in parenting. It is a big subject, but we want to share a few important factors to stimulate our thoughts and motivations. We hope we all gain some benefits from our discussion today, inshallah. We encourage you to engage by sending comments or questions within the topic. Brother Farid Ahmed is with us today. Brother Farid wrote a book on Islamic parenting which is yet to be published. He is a father and has been dealing with many parents through his Quran lessons that he teaches children for over 22 years. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Farid. How are you today?
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. I'm okay, and I hope everyone is okay. We pray that everyone is okay in this challenging time, inshallah.
Inshallah, yes. Apart from the COVID, we keep talking about the COVID. Yes, it's going on. It's still going on in the world and things like that. I heard today there's another variant coming out, so I don't even know what that is. But it's not just that. It's people suffering for all other calamities. There's natural disasters happening throughout the world, and then unnatural ones which human hands have been involved in wars and things like this. So we pray that all those around the world who are suffering in whatever way, that Allah gives you ease and helps you to get through it in the best possible way, inshallah.
Ameen. Ameen.
Amen. So, Brother Freed, we've got a list of questions today. So, Brother Freed, what is the most important factor for successful parenting? So, would you like to start with that one, please?
Bismillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. وما توفيقي إلا بالله عليه توكلت وإليه أنيب. So may Allah grant me some understanding and ability to think of some ideas and to share it with you. So the first most important tip would be intention. So this is number one, would be intention. So what is intention? We know intention is like, what is the intention mean? What is the purpose? What is the goal? What is the aim? What is the plan? What is the dream? Etc. etc. So how this intention is related to parenting? The relation is, each parent, like me, I have to ask myself, why do I want a child in the first place? And the answer is the intention. So why do I want it? And if the viewers, if you are a parent and who did not ask this question seriously, then I think I should, you should, everyone should, as a Muslim parent, that why exactly do I want a child? What is my purpose? What is my intention behind it? As Muslim parents, the clearer idea we have about what we want with our children, then the better we can plan for it. But if we are not sure, or if we have confusion about it, then it will be a time wasting, and maybe we will realize when it is too late, and it is not going to do much good, because by then we will create so much damage. Children and parent relationship is very, very delicate. It is very, very sensitive. So a lot of parents, they do not think about these things before their marriage. They start thinking after marriage, and when already they have children. So we see that, also, because I am an independent marriage celebrant, I also find many couples uh, that they do not think through enough, about their children, about their parenting skills, etc. Because they think that marriage is easy. It will come, and some of us, we do not think that it is a very, very delicate job. uh, so, it is obvious. Some people may think that, okay, marriage is only, I say, I do kabiltu, and she said kabiltu, things like this, and then, done. And then automatically the happiness will come as a rain from the sky, and we will be living happily ever
Ever
after.
happy ever after, yeah.
Ever after.
Cinderella or
Ye-
something.
Yes, yes. So those children's story, they are encouraging,
Mhm.
but they also give a false
Impression.
expectation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some people I find, even they are adult, but they are still sticking to those, childhood stories.
Fairy tales. Yeah.
Fairy tales. Yeah.
Yeah.
But marriage is a responsibility, and also a right. So now the question is that, why, actually, as a Muslim parent, why do I want a child? So few years ago, I did a survey. It was not a big survey, but I did a little survey, and I asked this question to many parents, and uh, some of them, they said, their answer was, I didn't think about it. This is the first time I'm hearing it. Nobody asked me this question before. Before marriage, I was worried about the marriage. After marriage, now I have too much in my plate. I'm worried, how to look after my family, how to look after my child. So I didn't have time to think about it. And some parents, they said, well, don't know, don't know much, because yeah, didn't study about it. So this sort of things, it shows that a number of parents still there who are not asking these questions to themselves before they become parent, that why I am getting married, why I am going to get children, and what is my intention should be towards having the children. So this is one group. Then another group, in my survey, I found out that they knew why they wanted children. They knew it.
Mm. Mm.
But, in that group, there were many answers. And I'll just, humbly share, some of the things I hear. So some said that I want a child for my happiness, for my joy. It is true. Children brings joy and happiness. It is true. But other fact is, children also bring the test. Anyway, we'll go there a bit later. Another answer was, I want a child so that I can give love and I can receive love. So that is my main intention. Another answer was that, well, I want a child so when I am older, I cannot work and I'm retired. So my child will look after me. I'll feed my child, I'll look after my child. And then when I need, some sort of help, then this child is my future insurance.
Mm.
So that is another answer. Another answer is that, to increase my power and strength of my family. And we know, even in the days of ignorance, before Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, before he brought the peaceful message of Islam, people there, they used to fight. because they didn't have any government. So their tribe, their family was their government. So they used to try to get as many children as possible. It means if they have more male children, that means they have more soldiers in their family. So they can fight against their enemies, or they can rip up their neighbors, or suppress or oppress them. Things like this. And another answer was that I want a child because all my hard work, and all my wealth, I don't want anyone to take. I want my child so that I can pass my wealth to my children. So this is another answer I found. And only a tiny number of people, fortunately or unfortunately, they were more specific. They said, look, I want a child for serving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, you can see that, we can think in a varieties of way. And sometimes, we as a Muslim parents, we all have this intention to serve Allah, but we sometimes put this serving Allah in the last of our
Categories.
priorities. So, I don't want to, say anything to disrespect anyone. I think all parents, all of us, as Muslim parents, in our heart, the last one, that serving Allah, it is in our heart. But what I want to remind me and all of us, that putting this one just tiny little in the corner of our heart in the intention is not good enough. This one has to be number one intention. This one has to be main intention. Why? If we look at the examples, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given examples in the Holy Quran through his messengers. So let's say Ibrahim alayhi salam. So Ibrahim alayhi salam, he made dua for a child. And in his dua, he made his intention very, very clear. He said, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Rabbi habli minas salihin. O Allah, grant me a righteous child or a righteous progeny. What is righteous? A righteous means the one who has iman, who has taqwa, who has good deeds, ability to good deeds. So, with iman and with good deeds, we serve Allah. So, and as a Muslim parents, it should be our dream also that we will have children, we want children, so that our team who wants to serve Allah will be bigger. And our team who wants peace in this life and in next life will be bigger. So we will have more children, we'll have a bigger team, and together we can encourage one another. We can help one another to be successful in our mission. Because our whole intention is that we and our children, we want to go to Jannah, we want to go to paradise. In another dua, we find that Ibrahim alayhi salam, when he and his son Ismail alayhi salam, when they were building the Kaaba, then Ibrahim alayhi salam, he also made dua, Rabbana waj'alna muslimayni lak. O Allah, make both of us your obedient servant Muslim. Wa min zurriyatina ummatan muslimatan lak. And also from our next generation, Allah make a generation who will be obedient servant Muslim for you. So, uh, from this, the answer is that our first and foremost parenting tip is that we have to make our intention right, and we have to focus on it more. And if we can focus on it more, then from the intention we can make a plan that how can we get there. So if we want to serve Allah for Jannah, then we can make a plan, we can make a program like an organization. In an organization, what we do, an organization, you have leadership, and then you make a plan that this is our objective, and then you make some programs that through this program we will achieve our objectives. So a family is a small organization, and the parents are the leaders in that family organization. So these parents, Muslim parents as leaders, they have to make their objective correct, intention right, and then to achieve that intention, to achieve that goal, they can make their programs and planning properly, inshallah.
Inshallah, Jazakallah, Brother Freed. I'm just going to put a little comment here. I'm actually going to try and, with the intention is correct, but what I'm thinking, the intention has to start even before the parenting, which has to
Yes,
be before the marriage. What is
yes.
the intention of the marriage? What when choosing a spouse, is it the most beautiful? Is it the richest? Got the best background of importance and comes from a very wealthy family and things like this, or is it something where they've got strong iman? And there, I think this is where it needs to be the number one. That then if like for like, so if you're Islamic is is good, you want to choose someone who's good, because then that way you can sort of help each other. Not to say that if someone is not as good that you think that you can help them to become better, that is also good. But that you need to sort of be having a focus rather than just looking at going by what the eyes and the heart thinks. It needs to be what's the soul, because at the end of the day, that's what really becomes soulmates, and you work together and strive to help each other through the ups and downs of this life. Even before children and parenting comes along, there's still a lot of ups and downs during that period. So that is just my comment on that. And for us, for when I got married, we sort of spent a little bit more time before we had children, so we got to really know each other and sort of planning a bit better and things like that, so that when it did come along, we were ready. We're like ready in terms of our iman, our understanding of each other, because we come from two different backgrounds, and then also financially and things like that. It's not saying it shouldn't don't necessarily have to wait for all these things, but sometimes if you plan things better, what they say, a fail to plan is a plan to fail. So if you do some sort of planning to prepare for these sort of things, it makes things a little bit easier when those trials and tribulations come along, because you're sort of like accustomed, you're sort of prepared, and you're able to handle it a little bit better. Because if you're sort of can't coping with each other, you just sort of get to know them, and all of a sudden you have a tsunami come over of problems, or then it's a lot harder to swim out of that tsunami if you've got everything else. But if you're at ease with each other and then you've got the tsunami come, all first thing you can do is grab your partner and help each other to the surface, rather than just be looking after yourself. So this sort of thing. So, but intention is definitely, alhamdulillah, like you said, intention is what we need to have for that, inshallah. So, Brother
Jazakallah.
Freed, alhamdulillah, what is the second one? Can you please highlight the second most important factor for successful parenting?
So
Inshallah.
second one is simple, duty. So
Duty.
duty. So second one is duty. So once I have fixed my mind, my soul, my heart, where I want to go. So that is intention. Now the second thing is that what are my duties to get there?
Mm.
So we it is very common sense thing that um, you know intention directs us towards certain duties. So if my intention is I want to climb the Taranaki mountain, then I have to make a list of duties what I have to do.
Yeah, the
But
planning. Yeah.
yeah, but if my intention is no, I want to go to the sea on a boat, then my duties and preparation will be different.
Totally different.
Similarly, if we think that, okay, careless, whatever will happen with my children, they will grow up, so we call it carelessness, not enough,
Mm.
not enough focus in it. If we have that careless intention, then the result may be, may Allah save all of us from it, maybe a dysfunctional family, a unhappy family. Maybe the result will be a violent family, etc., etc.
Mm.
But if our intention is, as a whole family, we want to go to Jannah, we want to go to paradise, then we are after gold. So a gold medalist, if he is determined that he wants to win the gold medal, then his duty will be above than normal people. He will be more disciplined, more organized, more control in diet, more control in emotion, and impulse, because this sort of things all affects, in sports. So that person will take more responsibility and more duties. So similarly with us, because as Muslim parents, our main target is that with family we want to go to Jannah, and that increases more duties for us. So this is my first point, that in Islamic parenting we have to take extra responsibilities. Why? Because we are after gold medal, or we are after platinum medal, the highest
Yes.
achievement that is in paradise. So our motivation and our determination also has to be above here, not here. Oh, whatever. No, 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 no. Not good enough for us.
Easy go.
So we have to be more motivated people, more positive people, and more determined people, you know, to take responsibility, to be proactive, to be, you know, to be proactive, like, Allah has categorized three groups of people in Surah Al-Waqi'ah, chapter 56. One group is Ashabul Yamin, another is Shimal, another is Sabiqun. The Sabiqun are the forward people. They are proactive. They always, they always take the first step, towards achieving the best thing. So we Muslim parents, in our parenting attitude, we have to be the Sabiqun. Our determination has to be, no, I don't want to be ordinary. I want to be extraordinary. And for it, I'll pray to Allah. And also for it, I'll make effort, and Allah will help me for this. So now we come about what is that main duties, because about duties, it's also a very big subject. So let us focus in the main duty. What is the main duty? So to understand about duties towards the children, we should ask that, what is my duty towards Allah? Why Allah has created me for? What is the purpose and duty Allah has put on me, after creating me? So the answer is, we know in the Quran, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. So Allah said that I have created mankind and jinkind to serve me, to worship me. So if this is my duty towards Allah first and foremost, then definitely my duty as parents to give the same training, same education to my children. So this is the main, the core duty. Also in another verse in the Quran, Allah has Allah has guided us with more specific instruction, and that is in chapter 66 verse 6. Allah said that ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who believe, qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara, save yourself and also your family from the fire of hell. In other words, that so that if you can save yourself from disaster, from punishment, then your obvious place will be the happy paradise forever. So this is our main duty as parents, that we want to be saved from the hellfire to go to paradise, and also we want to train our children, motivate our children, guide our children, teach our children with all the necessary programs, with all the necessary duties to also save them from harm, from disaster, and also together, so that together we can all go to paradise. So this is the main duty. And one little more with it, because we discussed before that out of six answers that why we want our children, only one was I mentioned. Out of seven, maybe only one was that for the service of Allah. But
Mm.
we had other things that I want, happiness, I want joy, I want this, and I want that, I want that. Yes. But about those things, in regards to the children, there is another thing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned for our guidance. And that is uh, in the Holy Quran, we can find it in chapter 64, verse 15. Repeat again. Chapter 64, verse 15. Here Allah is saying, إنما أموالكم وأولادكم فتنة والله عنده أجر عظيم. Allah said that the wealth of yours and the children of yours may be a test for you. So, yes, it is a joy. Qurrata a'yun, Allah has also mentioned it is a joy. Having children, it is a joy for us. It is a blessing from Allah. And we should be thankful to Allah all the time. But this joy, this happiness comes with a tag.
Mm.
And that one is it is a test from Allah. So our main duty is not to take this Allah's blessing for granted, but our main duty is to make sure that we pass the test properly. Because Allah is testing us with our children, that how we behave with them, or how we use them. So if we target our children to give us the worldly benefit only, or we give our children, our duty is to give them the worldly benefit, house, car, this and that. If we think that this is our main duty, this verse is a warning for us
Mm.
that Allah has given the blessing. ثُمَّ لَتُسْأَلُنَّ يَوْمَئِذٍ عَنِ النَّعِيمِ. Another verse from the Holy Quran, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will question you on the day of judgment about the blessings that Allah has given you. So this is a test. Our children is a test. It is a amana on us. It is a trust on us. And Allah is testing each and every parent. So our first duty is to save ourselves, according to the verse I recited, save ourselves and our children from the fire of hell and to get paradise. And the second most important duty is to pass the test about the children. And how can we pass the test? The simple answer, brief answer is, if we do our parenting according to the code of Allah, we pass the test.
Jazakallah, Brother Freed. I'm just want to make a bit of an analogy to this. As
Yes.
we've got the Olympics on at the moment, the Winter Olympics in China, and you see the athletes there. They're training so hard for one event, maybe two events. They spend 4, 6, 8 years training for this one event or two events they do. So this is sort of something as Muslims we need to be training hard like that as well. But our training is not just for the one event. Our training is for the life we're living. So we need to always be improving our abilities, improving, like, how do you get better at it? So the athletes, how they get better, they're training. So they have special coaches to train them. So for us, we need people we can go to get information, maybe like these programs we're having here, or getting from ulama and things like this, and even parenting specialists. We're talking about parenting because it's not just parenting for our training; it's our whole life. But because the subject today is parenting, Islamic parenting, so we need to work on that. So it needs to be something we're always thinking of. Can't just sort of sit back like, all right. It's like the athlete; they don't just sort of train for 2 weeks and say, right, I'm fit now, and then don't do any more training. They think they can run a marathon in 2 years' time from the training they'd done 2 years prior. They'll get injuries and won't be able to do it. So this is an ongoing thing for us. We ongoing procedure and training and developing, because it's not just training, it's developing. So how we develop ourselves in those areas, and it's sort of developing with our spouse and then with our children when they come along, to try and help them, encourage them into the fold of Islam, and this is the way we see it is. We don't always get it right, Many times we keep saying there's no real book on how to do all that successfully. Oh, that's the Quran and the Hadith, an example. But sometimes you don't, in the midst of it all, you sort of don't get to see some of that, and we make mistakes. But because there's mistakes made, they can be rectified, going back to the intention. So going back to the intention and going back to the duty, our responsibilities, what we're here for, what's it all about, and going on from there, inshallah. So that's just my
Inshallah.
little add to that, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair. Beautiful, beautiful.
So, Brother Three, let's move to the third most important factor in Islamic parenting. Could you describe this for us, inshallah?
So, so the third one is the time.
Time, yes, time
Yeah,
management.
time. So time. So time is very precious gift for all of us, and we love it. We
Yes,
love it, but when it comes
and
for
when it
us
goes.
parents giving the time for the children,
Hmm.
then sometimes we become very stingy, and that's a big thing, and so many marriages are lacking this time things even between husband and wife. So they get married busy, 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 and marriage, nowadays, some cultures they have made marriage mean heavy work, lots of tensions, lots of stresses. It has to be that many hundred of people. It has to be that much money to spend, that many gifts. So all these artificial things we are making marriage stressful. So what I mean, so before marriage there is no time for husband and wife who are going to be to think and plan. After marriage, then again culturally, this function, that function, that function, that function, busy, no time. Husband is busy with men, and wife is busy with other women, no time. Then, some people they go for honeymoon, busy, busy in traveling, busy seeing that side, busy seeing that side, but they are not spending the quality time even to understand one another. And then comes children, then again busier,
Hmm.
no time. Now, third, and we need more money, so we need to work more, blah, blah, blah. So many excuses. Again, no time. So sometimes some parents, they ask me that what is the best gift I can give to my children? What is the best gift?
Time.
So this the answer is time, because Allah has made oath by the time, wal
Of
asr,
course.
because asr is, the time is very important. And innal insana lafi khusr, and a big part of the human being, they are earning only loss because they are not giving the time to its appropriate right. They are not using the time properly. So we got to ask ourselves as Muslim parents, are we spending enough time with our children? This is a very, very important thing, because these children, they need our time, and we cannot replace our time with other people. We can employ teachers, we can employ private tutors, we can employ private caretaker, private carers, caregivers, etc., etc., etc. But as parents, our time to the children is very, very important, because if we spend time, that first of all, there is a bond comes in, a bond between parents and children. But if we push them away, with the care of other people, then that bond is not there. And I'll share you a very, very, true fact. And that is, in my homeopathy consultancy, sometimes I get patients, even patients 45 years old, 55 years old, patients with depression. So, in homeopathy, what we do, we discuss, and we try to find out what is the main thing behind it. What was the reason from which it started? So, when we dig more and more and more, one of the very important thing I found is that many patients, even 55 years old, is crying with depression. Why? Because when he or she was 6 years old, 5 years old, she remembered that she was feeling forsaken by the parents,
Mm.
because parents didn't have time. And now these people at 55, you can imagine, they had amazing degrees, doing very high responsible jobs, but here they're still missing that the love they expected, the bond they expected from their parents. They did not receive it, and that thing is still there missing, despite their money and their profession and their glory. Still inside them, they're still feeling like a child. Why that happens? Because many parents, they show that, they gives the excuse, we are too busy, so the caregiver will look after our child. They do not realize that these little babies, they also understand. Maybe they cannot think, but they have feelings, and in their feelings, if they feel forsaken, then it's a damage. It's a big damage. So the best gift we can give to our children is time, and then we can save us and them from lots of troubles. I'll give another example. So some children, they become teenagers, for example. So teenager children, uh, some parents, they complain that now my child doesn't listen to me, or child goes to the friends and doesn't care much about us. So the my child goes to the friends and getting all these advices. I have also found out that somehow there was no bond, between the parent and the child. And the child had to go somewhere. As the child was growing, had to go somewhere for the bond. So what happens? The child has bonded with somebody else. It had to be. So somebody else, and maybe that somebody else or that friend may have lack of education or lack of Islamic knowledge. So according to whatever that friend has, advises this person, and this person gets a wrong idea about the life, about parents, about the family, and now this person is showing a different attitude. Again, it's because we did not invest enough time. These days, we have this mobile, and many parents I see when the children are, screaming, they give them the mobile. So watch the mobile and then, stop crying. This is also not good enough. We need more time, very close. We need to spend time before going to work, you know uh, time to time if possible from work, give a buzz, give a call after work, eating together, you know um, reciting together, praying together, as much time as possible. If the child is little and wants to go with dad, take them, to the mosque with you. They will be very, very happy because the father is with them, so the more time we can spend is better for us. And um, you know where do we get the inspiration from? We get the inspiration from Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There are so many of these, that says that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used to spend time with Hassan and Hussein radiallahu ta'ala anhuma. Even Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used to play with them. He used to pretend like a horse, and he used to allow them to sit on his back, and then he used to give them entertainment. So our prophet has shown that the importance of giving time to our children, and we need to uh, we need to do this, inshallah.
Inshallah, yes. Time is, it's something that just withers away. We can never get it back. I think we've talked about before, like most other things we can get back. Like we lose some money, we can work hard and make some more money. But whatever time we've lost, it's lost. And we can't get
Mm-hmm.
that back. So we just have to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives us a blessing in the time, that what time we do have left in our lives and things like that, we can utilize it to the best advantage, for both our communities and other communities as well. So our families and others as well, in showing them what the correct way of things are and those sort of things. So, and like you talked about, sometimes some little things from someone way back when they were really young can affect them till they're old age, and it hurts them, hurts them. It affects their heart for
Mm.
all their life, and it probably still brings tears to their eyes how they felt that. And now they're grown people, like you said, people with great degrees and things like that, leaders of community and things like that, but they still have this part of them that was so like blackened in their heart, that that they're feeling that they missed something, and that's going to be a big responsibility on all of us as parents or as people, as humanity,
Mm.
that if we've wronged someone, um, in such a way that is affected like this, because you hear of stories, and then people have go and do things like they commit suicide or things like, because they feel they couldn't cope because of the things. But there's always a way out. There's always a way out if we can get back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and seek His help in whatever we need and things like that, inshallah.
Inshallah.
So, Brother Freed, number 4. So, can you let us know what the most important factor,
Okay,
or the
so
fourth most important factor is,
yeah,
inshallah?
so the fourth one is role modeling.
Role model,
Yeah,
yes, role
role
model.
model. So yeah, this is a big one, because it requires the parents to, you know come out of their own comfortable zone. uh, when I say comfortable zone mean, it's going, it's we are just managing. And as I said before, you know uh, just managing is not good enough for us, because we are after gold medal, we are after paradise. And to go to paradise, we cannot afford to be complacent. We cannot afford to be lagging behind. We have to be always at front. Now, about the role modeling, what is role modeling? Role modeling is, teaching by action, teaching by good example, teaching by good example. And in this world, there are so many role models for different things. But when it comes to the role modeling of Muslim, it means a parent has to be a good Muslim first. That is role modeling. A parent, or parents must be a practicing Muslims, so that the children will follow that easily. Role modeling is very necessary. For the mankind, Allah sent role models like the messengers. We need that. Even though Allah sent the Holy Quran, but to show it practically as human, Allah sent role model, because that's how it works better. Otherwise, Allah could have, sent the holy books, billions and billions of copy, dropping from the heaven through the angels, and Allah could have said, okay, take the book and read it, and then be perfect. The question is there any Muslim parents who do not want their children to be perfect? I did not find anyone. I found, Alhamdulillah, all Muslim parents. They love their children, and they love their children to be perfect. But when it comes to the perfection about them, then sometimes I hear, oh, I'm not perfect, but I want my child to be perfect. Oh, I'm not regular in prayer, but I want my child to be regular in prayer. So, what happens? Sometimes, some of us, we may send our children to stars, to an imam, that imam, you should do some magic with magic wand, and then make my child 100% perfect. Or, imam, you make a tonic, so my child will drink the tonic and my child will be perfect. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. I have seen many families, when the children are little, they're okay, but when they come to primary stage, then they start arguing with the parents. And it becomes a big argument, and it grows and grows and grows. Why do they argue? They would come home and they would say, Dad, you don't do this, but my teacher, my Islam teacher said that is good, but you didn't do it. So some parents, they feel offended, so they become defensive. Stop this. What do you understand? So again, we will come into this, this kind of, again, the wrong method to control the child. So the child stops, but in the mind, the thinking is the thinking racing doesn't stop.
Hmm.
It goes bigger and bigger and bigger, and one day it becomes a bomb-like thing, and then it blasts, explodes, and then we see big problem. So, what is the solution for this? The solution is, if the parents wants the same perfection, if the parents wants the perfection for their children, then they have to practice the same thing for their
Perfection.
own perfection.
Yeah. Practice
If
their own
the
perfection. Yeah.
Yeah, if the parents want their children to go to paradise so desperately, then they also have to make sure that they are going to paradise also. Otherwise, what's the point? If I advise my child that do this, 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 so you will go to paradise, but I do not practice it, then you know, um, uh, I am saying I'm advising something that I do not practice, and this is exactly what Allah Subhanahu wa Taala dislikes. Allah likes us to preach and to practice, so that we can be role model, at least for our families. In chapter 61, chapter 61, verse 2 and 3, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is calling the believers. Allah says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who believe, lima taquluna ma la taf'alun. Why do you say things that you do not do? So as a parent, we should, before we say advise something to our children, we should look at us. Are we doing it? We know the story that once a lady came to Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam with her child and said, Ya Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, my child likes sweet too much. Could you advise my child not to eat too much sweet? Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, you may go today and then come later, and then I'll advise. She came later again. So third time when she came, she asked that why you are sending me again and again. Prophet ﷺ said that because I also love sweet. So I wanted to reduce it first before I could
Advise you.
advise this little child. So that's how it should be. In our home, if parents are practicing Muslims, then children gets the motivation and they are copycats. They follow. Even we can see that little children, when we are praying, they come and
Mm,
they stay
mm,
beside us. If we make two sajda, make five or six, because they love it,
mm.
because the parents are doing it. So they are copycat because they see their role model. So if we can be role model of peace at home, our children will follow the path of peace. And this world now, day by day, is becoming a world without peace. The moral is going down and the materialism is going up. Now, as religious people, if we do not supply peaceful people, righteous people, polite people to this society, then who is going to do this? So, I you know I am acknowledging all the parents from all the mankind who are consciously making effort to supply peaceful citizens to this world. I acknowledge them, but in this Muslim audience in Islamic way, I'm saying that Islam also emphasizes that we Muslim parents, we should also take the role modeling so that we can be peaceful and righteous and moral, and we can avoid the bad habits, corruption, cruelty, etc., so that our home will be a peaceful place because of our good role modeling. Our children will be the next generation with the good role modeling, and that way we can contribute peace and righteousness to this world, and that will help to reduce the crime and to make the world more peaceful. So, role modeling is very important aspect. in Islamic parenting.
Yes, I'll just add a little bit there, because like these days we seem to be lacking some of the good role models of the past, of the generations, like at the time of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and the Sahaba, where you hear similar stories to like what you said, that they didn't go and teach the Quran that they'd learnt until they were actually able to practice that little bit of Quran, whether it be one ayah, one verse, whatever. So these days, with the lack of good role model as parents, where are our children going? The place where they are on most of the time, social media. So they're getting the social media role models. Are they Muslim? Maybe not. Are they good influences? Probably not. So then we wonder why they're going astray, because they're not getting the role model from within the home or within the community, because they're probably they've moved away from the Islamic community because they just don't feel connected with it. So, and they're just going online and getting role models from there, which could be, a lot of cases, the worst of the worst of the worst. And then the bullying comes and others, all sorts of other things, and then they get mental issues and all this sort of thing. So, rather, like you said, role modeling is a very important part, inshallah.
Inshallah. Brother Muhammad Mustafa has written that don't forget us with your dua
To
in
us,
this morning, inshallah. So yeah, thank you very much for your reminder. Jazakallah khair, and we will make dua for you, and also you also make a dua for all of us,
inshallah.
inshallah.
Inshallah. So, Brother Freed, our time is just about up. So, could you give us a short rundown on the fifth most important factor for successful Islamic parenting?
Okay, so this is the biggest one, the
Discipline.
disciplining children as parents. And this is actually a big topic because uh, you have mentioned something that sometimes we look at bigger issues, but we do not go into nitty gritty issues, and sometimes these little nitty gritty issues create more problem. Yeah, so I urge to our Islamic scholars, to do more work on this and to produce books with tips, and which will include the psychological tips, which will address our anger, our emotional ups and downs, and how those things and our attitude and personality, how those things can affect the disciplining. So disciplining is to balance out from either extreme. So we need discipline to balance things out. And sometimes our children, they need guidance, uh, because like we old people also do, because they are just developing their understanding. They are now facing the whole world, relationship, friendship, their duties, activities, rights and responsibilities, all those things. So discipline is there so that they will not be deviated from the main focus. They will not be deviated from the right path. If our discipline system is faulty, then it will not work, rather it will bring suffering. So one tip is that as Muslim parents, we have to be good in communication. What do I mean by communication? Communication means we should, right from the childhood, our children should feel that they can share their sorrow, anger, disappointment, anything they could share with us. And we should be, right from the beginning, we should be talking to them. But sometimes some parents, probably because of their cultural thing, they do not communicate with children. They only order the child, do this, don't do that, and they limit their communication there. But children, they have lots of question inside, and when they do not get their answers, then they think that I'm a Zalem father, I'm a tyrant father, and I am a cruel ruler. That's how they feel. So we need to be communicative. you know any issue comes, we need to be able to talk about it and explain about it. So if we, instead of talking, if we are just commanding them or reprimanding them, then sometimes people use it as discipline, but this kind of wrong discipline will have two bad consequences. Either you are destroying, damaging the confidence of the child, because you are not allowing the child to grow. Child wants to say something even wrong. Pop, pop, pop. So, after a while, child get frightened, and the child gets, becomes closed, and inside it damages the personality, damages the confidence. So this child later on can be a very vocal leader, cannot be a very vocal student representative, cannot be a good communicative student in the class. So this is one damage can happen. Another damage can happen is the child, when the child become grown up, can be a rebellious child, will not like your thing. So, no matter what happens, the parents and children's relations should be like this. And parents should encourage the children, we are your best friend, we are your parents. you know Mm, you should not feel worried or fearful to share anything with us. So that way we also protect them. Otherwise, if we don't give them what they want, then they will find out some maybe bad friends, and they will share their feelings with them, and those friends can badly influence our children. So this is one thing we need to be careful. And the second quick tip is, no matter what we do in our disciplining, we must appear as we are loving. Our children should have the feeling that a loving father is wanting my best. Even though what I want, my mom doesn't agree with me, but my mom is explaining to me with a loving way that my child, I, want, your best. And for this good reason, I cannot give you this, and I do not recommend you to do these things like this. So in my life experiences, in homeopathic field, I have found many good children. They had sometimes problem with their parents, but when they came to me, they said, but look, uncle, one thing I can guarantee, my mom and dad, they are doing it because they love me too much. This is very important. If you can win the heart of the child, then your advice, they will listen. Last point, because of the time, last point I'll give. The last point is that for disciplining husband and wife, they both have to be in one page.
Agreement.
Yeah. Sometimes, husband says something to the child, and then, wife goes against him and support the child, and then vice versa.
Hmm.
As a result, what happens? One is trying to discipline, and another is trying to spoil.
Hmm.
At the end, the child becomes spoiled.
Spoiled.
But if we have, agreement, in both, and we play gentle discipline, but firm,
Hmm.
and we are seeing that we are loving, inshallah, it will work better. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide all of us, and jazakumullahu khairan to all of you, all the viewers. Yeah, please, keep us in your dua, and may Allah also bless all of us and save us from all the calamities, all the sicknesses, and all the wrong things as parents. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alaikum salam barakat. I'll just mention one other thing. We had a comment here from Asher Zahid. Mali's under humanitarian crisis. all Africans and world nations have to support Mali. So inshallah, we'll from here just give our dua and support and ask everyone around the world to give their dua and support for Mali and all other places that are suffering under humanitarian and other crises, inshallah. And
Yes.
and
Please
just adding,
support them.
yes,
Mm.
inshallah. So just as Brother Freed says, Jazakallah everyone for watching, and we look forward to seeing you again, inshallah, next week. And stay safe, stay healthy, and keep your iman strong and high, inshallah. Jazakallah.
Inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.